for joining us this afternoon. I'll be having a short presentation just to give everybody background for those who are not yet familiar with some stock market highlights and the retail investor landscape. It's pretty self-explanatory. So let's just look at the investor demographics. What do we have now in the Philippine Stock Exchange? So over the years, you will see the growth of the retail market. From 1,089,000 in 2018, we are over 1.9 million as of the end of last year. Still a very, very low figure considering it's only about 1.7% of our population. But at least, over the 5 years, the compounded annual growth rate of the number of investors is about 11.8%. Here, this is the composition of the 1.9 million investors. 51%, of course, male, 49%, almost the same female. So it's gender neutral, you might say. In terms of age, the big percentage is in the 30 to 44 with 46%, followed by the 45 to 59 with 20%, and the 80 to 29 with 19, and finally the over 60, the senior citizens like me, at 15%. In terms of location, the 1.9 million retail investors, 68% come from Metro Manila, 19% come from Luzon area, with 7 from Visayas, 5 from Mindanao, and only 1% from overseas. In terms of income demographics, majority of retail investors earn less than 500,000 per annum. That's 71%, with 14% earning anywhere from 550,000 to 1 million pesos per annum, and 15% earning over $1 million in salary per annum. In terms of employment status, 74% are locally employed, 7% are self-employed, 6% are OFWs, 4% are retired, 1% are students, and notably, even 8% of our retail investors come from the unemployed sector. In January 21, during the peak of the pandemic, I guess when the lockdown was in effect and everybody was confined to their homes, the retail market, for the first time ever, overtook the institutional market in terms of the trading participation in the exchange. In January 2021, we had also one of the highest average daily trading volumes of 11 billion a day. Now we're averaging about 6 to 7 billion, but in January 2021, we were averaging about 11 billion. And with that kind of volume, you will note that retail participation comprised 51% of the market. First time ever that retail participation exceeded the institutional participation. Okay. You will see here, and then as of the end of March 2024, from 50.7 in January, we dropped all the way down to 16%. You'll see that as the average trading volume of the market went down from 9 billion in 2021 to 6.03, the retail participation dropped from 31.1% to 16%. How do we compare to our regional peers, to the other regional exchanges? Indonesia Stock Exchange, retail participation in the market is 32%. Stock Exchange of Thailand is 28.9%, Malaysia is 19.5%, and I said Philippines is 16%. So we have a lot of work to do to increase retail participation in our market. And why is this important? Because retail participation in any stock market contributes to the liquidity of the market. And the market liquidity is very important to make the market go up, increase in value. Next slide. Okay. What's notable also, looking at the BSP report statistics, as at the end of 2023, there were 1,099,000, almost 1.1 million of time deposit investors, with time deposits amounting to 5.125 trillion pesos. Okay, what does this tell us? There is liquidity in the economy, okay, but it's just not going to the market. Of course, a big reason for that is interest rates are very high, so a lot of investors, prefer to put their money in time deposits. But the liquidity is there, and we have to continue coming up with ways and new products to get part of that 1.1 trillion trading in the stock market. Okay. What does the PSE do to increase retail participation in the market? I think some of you are familiar with this. It's not the first time I'm taking this up. Okay. We have the PSEC. PSEC is the acronym for Electronic Allocation System for IPOs. As all of you know, for every IPO, 10% of the shares must be allocated to what we call the local small investor, or the LSI, or the retail market. When I took over as PSE president, I noticed that of the 10% allocation of IPOs to retail investors, less than 1% was being availed of. And again, why was that? We went through we went and studied it, and it was such a manual, cumbersome process then. If a retail investor wanted to invest in an IPO, he would have to go to one of 3 kiosks, IPO kiosks, one in Quezon City, one in Makati, and one in the city of Manila, or in the PSE office, to get an application form or a subscription form for an IPO. He has to manually or literally bring this application to his broker, who will acknowledge on that application that indeed he has an account with the broker. After getting that acknowledgement, he brings back the application form to the kiosk and then makes a payment, all to invest 25,000 pesos. Naturally, the take-up was quite low. So the first thing we did was to say, we have to digitalize this process. So we hired an IT firm to design a electronic allocation system for IPOs, which is what we call PSEC, which we finally launched in 2019. Since the launch of PSEC in 2019, the take-up of IPO shares from less than 1% has increased to more than 6%. And in 2 or 3 of the IPOs, in fact, the 10% allocation was oversubscribed. And now, local small investors can invest up to a minimum, not the maximum, of 1 million pesos per IPO. We then, after a few years, when PSEC proved to be successful, we launched a phase 2, which was basically to integrate the payment portion. Prior to the phase 2 launch in last March 7, the IPO investor would still have to go to the bank to make a payment. Now, he can make the payment online. How does this work? I mean, very quick. An investor goes to ec.pse.com.ph, registers, indicates who his broker is. We send that application is sent to the broker. The broker acknowledges that this Juan de la Cruz has an account with him, and then with that confirmation, you get registered and you get a notice from PSE that you are now a subscriber to the PSEC. And every time there is an IPO, you get a notice from PSE that there is its IPO of ABC company, and that you're entitled to subscribe to so many shares. So again, it's a very successful product to, as far as getting retail investors involved in the market. In line with that, we also developed and launched the PSE Equip. It's really a data analytics platform for retail investors. We have this data platform that, but prior to PSE Equip, these were only accessible to institutional investors who had to pay PSE or subscribe to our data services. PSE Equip makes these data services freely available for free to retail investors. And coincidentally, the launch of this was, handed down in good time with the initiatives of GCash to offer stock market investing in their platform. Okay. On the investor education front, we launched our PSE Academy I think 2023, and PSE Academy basically is our education platform for investors. We have an online stock market course, and we are going to be launching a stock trading game, again, just to make retail investors more familiar with stock market investing. We of course have a certified security specialist course, which is intended for aspiring stock market brokers, financial capital market professionals, or investors who want or are interested in managing their own portfolios. It's a 124-hour continuing education program, which is being offered right now at De La Salle College and Ateneo. We're working on UP and other universities. Next. Again, to other initiatives we have to increase retail participation. We recently tied up with the Department of Migrant Workers, again, to offer offer our services to educate the OFWs on stock market investing. Last year there were 2.3 million OFWs, and we have agreed with DNW to target them and give them educational programs to get them interested and encourage them to trade in the stock market. Again, this is not only going to be limited to the OFW, but we will also extend this to their families. After all, it's the families that get the salaries and, who have the disposable income for this. Recently, we also PSE also tied up with the Civil Service Commission, again, to target our civil servants, the civil service eligibles that work in government to invest in the stock market. Again, we are tailoring some educational program for the civil servants. In connection with the GCash initiative, we've also reduced, or we are proposing to reduce or amend our board black requirement. This has already been approved at the PSE level. It is now with the SEC for their approval. What this basically does is, or what we did is, we reduced our board black to enable a retail investor to invest as little as 100 pesos in the stock market. Again, it's to democratize and facilitate access of the general public to the stock market. And I guess that concludes my presentation on the retail landscape in the Philippine market. Thank you.